mamas. Welcome back to Taboo Talks with Crystal. I'm your host, Crystal Casey, and I'm so glad you're back here with me today. And if this is your first time listening, welcome. We're creating a space where we dive deep into the hard stuff, the uncomfortable stuff, but also the healing stuff that helps us reclaim our power. Now, if you've been following along, last week we talked all about boundaries and why setting them is such a game changer when it comes to breaking generational cycles. I love hearing your feedback about the small but powerful boundaries you've been setting in your life. Whether it's taking 5 minutes of quiet time for yourself or simply saying no without feeling guilty. Keep it up, because you are setting the tone for your own peace, and that's what matters. Today, though, we are going to be diving into something that can feel really heavy and honestly even more taboo to talk about. Today, we're talking about shame. Oh yeah, we're going there. I mean, let's be real. How many of us have felt that deep, soul-crushing sense of shame? Whether it's about something we've done or something that was done to us, shame has this awful way of silencing us. It keeps us small. It keeps us hiding. And honestly, it's one of the biggest barriers to reclaiming your power and your authenticity. So today, I want to help you start overcoming that shame and reconnecting with your voice. All right, let's get into it. When it comes to shame, I think a lot of us moms carry a double load. There's the shame that we feel from the past, and then there's the shame we feel from this crazy pressure to be the perfect mom. You know what I'm talking about, right? We're expected to have it all together, but we all know that some days we are just trying to make it through without losing it on the kids or burning dinner. Shame thrives in secrecy. It grows when we keep it hidden and in the dark. And that's what I want to talk about today. How can we shine a light on that shame and start to free ourselves from it? I'm going to break this down into 3 steps, just like we've been doing the past couple of weeks, because Mama, I want to keep this quick and simple and doable for you. I know exactly how busy you are. So step 1, understanding the roots of shame. First of all, let's talk about where shame comes from. Many of us think it's because of something we did or didn't do. But here's the truth. A lot of the shame that we carry isn't even ours to begin with. It's passed down, whether from family or from society or through trauma. If you grew up in a home where vulnerability was seen as weakness, or where you were constantly told, or it was implied, that you had to be good and perfect, then chances are you've been living with a shame filter. Everything gets seen through this lens of I'm not enough. I remember feeling ashamed of the mistakes that I had made, especially after becoming a single mom. The world, life, it has a way of making us feel like we failed somehow, and that we're supposed to carry the weight of that failure, that shame on our shoulders, but never let it show. Well, what I realized is that the shame isn't serving me. It was silencing me. And the more I understood where it came from, the more I was able to start letting it go. So the first thing I want you to do this week is to ask yourself, where is the shame coming from? Is this mine? Or was it handed to me? Sometimes just naming it helps to loosen its grip. Feel free to pause now, grab your notebook, grab your pen, and come back to me. Step 2, rewriting your story. Once we know where the shame comes from, it's time to rewrite that narrative. Let me tell you, mamas, shame loves to tell us stories about who we are. But the problem is those stories are almost never true. Shame tells us we're not good enough, not strong enough, not worthy of love or respect. Shame is the little voice that says, you're failing, you can't do it, you're damaged, you're broken. And you know what? We start to believe it. Well, here's the good news. You get to rewrite that story. If life is a book, you are the author and the pen is in your hand. You get to decide what's true about you. So when those shame stories pop up, I want you to ask, is this fact or is this fiction? Because the truth is, you are powerful. You are capable. You are a wonderful, great mom, even on the days when it feels like everything's falling apart. When I started rewriting my own story, I literally had to tell myself out loud. I would look in the mirror, lock eyes with myself, and say, Crystal, you're doing your best, and that's all you can do. It was hard at first, but the more I practiced it, the more my inner dialogue started to change. And mamas, I want that for you too. So this week, I want you to pick one moment of shame that you just wrote in your notebook, and I want you to rewrite it. Turn it into a story of strength. And step number 3, speaking your truth. All right. This is a big one. Step 3 is all about speaking your truth. Remember when we talked about how shame keeps us small and quiet? Well, the only way to break free from that is to start speaking up. It doesn't mean you have to share your deepest secrets with the world, but it does mean owning your story for you. It means standing in your truth and saying, this is who I am. This is what I've been through, and I'm still standing. There's power in saying it out loud, even if you're just saying it to yourself at first. Like I said, I've had so many moments where I stood in front of the mirror and looked at myself in the eye and said things like, I'm not my mistakes. I'm not my shame. I am worthy of love and respect. Actually, that is one of my affirmations that I have on the bathroom wall that I say every morning. It may feel awkward, but that's okay. Sometimes healing feels weird. But every time you speak your truth, you chip away at that shame. And I promise every time it'll feel a little lighter. You'll feel a little stronger. Remember, speaking your truth is key to reclaiming your voice. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. Shame does not define you. You are more than your mistakes, more than the hard days, more than the stories that were handed to you, generation after generation after generation. You have the power to rewrite your story, to speak your truth, and to show up as the strong, beautiful woman and mother you already are. This week, try putting one of these steps into action, whether it's identifying where your shame comes from, rewriting that shame story, or speaking your truth out loud. You're taking your power back every time you do. And as you do that, you're also showing your kids how to live without shame. And that's how we break the cycles. It's not by saying, it's by doing, and we have to do. And the first time you do anything, it feels awkward. You are the first. You are breaking this cycle. So it's going to feel awkward. But your kids are watching. They're watching you do it, and they're going to do it too. That's how we break these cycles. As always, if you found value in today's episode, I would love it for you to share it with a fellow mama or your sister, anyone that you think might need this reminder. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Flight of the Phoenix Collective, where we will continue that conversation all week long. Next week, we're going to talk about parenting while healing, how you can start breaking those cycles while raising emotionally resilient kids. You don't want to miss it. Take care of yourself, Mama, and remember, you've got this. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes, and share your thoughts with me on social media. I love hearing from you. Together, we're reclaiming our voices, one step at a time.